Hey, how's it going? This is John and Chad with Hidden Level Audio, and today we are going to be talking about Ujam
Drums.
Drums is a continuation of their symphonic series that they started with Strings. Strings is incredible, and this Drums is all about epicness and power and effects and everything. It's awesome.
It is indeed epic.
All right, you can see here the drums interface, which looks remarkably similar to their strings interface. They both have a low and high section, characteristic effects, motion effects, a finisher section, keyboard, so on. You can crossfade between the low drums and the high drums to focus in on the different sections. There's characteristic effects for the low drums, bit crushers, distortions, so on and so on. Motion effects, gates, pumps, delays, flangers, phasers. So that corresponds to over here as well on the high side. Here in this middle section, it goes between the both of them. Here's the finisher effect, and you have tons of them to choose from. It's just an overall effect for the entire blend of the low and high drums. Ambience, reverbs, delays, how much you want to have going on into it. The highlighter is kind of like a low pass, kind of a blend that will take all the highs or lows away. Then you have all sorts of different play styles. You have just tons and tons of presets to choose from. There's common phrases, style phrases, hits, metal hits, intros, fills, and endings. These are all different styles the drums will play. The lower on the keyboard you go, the less intense of the beat, and it just builds as it goes along. These are one hits, so you can add those in as you need. The song that I have right now is 120 BPM, and this will sync up. You can have it play at a half time, the 120, or you can play double time. And there's also a swing indicator that will let it swing a little bit so it's not perfectly on the grid. I personally like it on the grid, so I'm going to keep it there. So here's a couple more phrases. And as you see, as I rise up the keyboard, it gets a little more intense. Pretty simple. Here are some one-off hits. Great for a downbeat or if you just want something big and impactful. And you can hear that there's a delay on this. And that's coming from over here on the high side. This is hitting the high side of the effect. Obviously the low side of the effect. And then finally, a stop, which will stop it if you got something playing. Then you can just hit the stop button and then it stops. You have this pitch bend knob here, which is going to act kind of the same as this crossfade, and it will just start playing whatever side of the drums plugin you want it to go, the lows or the highs. For instance, here's all the lows, blend it up, and here's the highs, and then you can, pretty cool. Then you have your modulation wheel here, and this acts as a velocity curve. So minimum, maximum. So you could have a phrase going. You can build the intensity as you want to go along. Bring it down. And all of this is fully automatable. There's this shape section over here, which if you look at it, it acts as kind of your ADSR curve. So for this one right here, it's going to be a very quick attack with a quick release. And over here is going to be a very soft attack with a slow release. So as you blend it over, your attack will soften up and your release will go, and you can choose anywhere you want it to go. Right now on the high section, it's really fast and attacky, so you get this quick snap and it releases quick. I'm going to put this over to the high side so you can hear kind of what that's doing. So if I bring this over and soften it up, so this is softer attack, slower release. Got your metal hits. More of a swipe. So your metal hits again. This is going to be real fast and aggressive. And you have it on both sides, on the lows and the highs. All the parameters are fully automatable. You can write it in your DAW, or you can program it to any CC on your controller. All you have to do is right-click on the knob that you want to assign a MIDI CC to from your controller, hit Learn MIDI CC, twist it up, and now that's fully automatable. And you can control it with your controller here. Another handy button here is this latch button. Just click the latch button, and then you can just click on a phrase, and then it will fully play without you having to hold the key down. So here is a phrase here. And now you can control this highlighter from the MIDI CC note that we gave it. See how it acts as a bandpass? This is a really fun one to automate to add some character to your track. And then to turn it off, hit the stop key, and then you're off. Okay, I have this song up here that has several instances of drums, a few instances of strings, a couple other Ujam instruments, and then a couple of third-party instruments that aren't Ujam. It's got a few finisher plugins also to kind of add some ambience, add some effects. Let's just take a listen to this track, and I'll open up a couple of the drum plugins so you can kind of see some of the automation that I've written into it as it goes along. Very cool, very epic. As you saw, I opened up a lot of different instances of drums. A lot of them had some automation going on, some more than others. Some had a couple of things going on at the same time. There's this break here in the middle of the song. It has this drum on it. It's called GLT Burbs. It's one of the glitchy effects. I made the high end have a nice sharp attack with a fast release. The low end, pretty fast attack, pretty slow release. Made it kind of a little bit slower to give it an industrial feel. Here's that middle section with just the drums, and you'll see the 4 different characters of it automate. As an added bonus there, here's Ujam's Carbon playing a guitar part there, which is also automated, this filter to kind of give it a rising effect. Here's that middle section again, all together with the 2 different plugins automating. Also on here, you might notice that I have a couple of different audio sections. And so what I did with that is I found some of the elements of the drums instruments and I printed them out so I could have them as audio and mix them separately from everything else. So there's this metal clank right here. Where that clank came from was this instance here. So if I look at the MIDI information here, this is what the main beat of this particular instance is doing. On this note here, there's the metal clank. And that's the same as this. But I wanted them separate. So what I did was I took this instance here, I just muted those sections, unmuted the metal clank here. So if I solo this up, big cool metal clank. Click on the section here, right click on it. I would commit that. And here you have it. It printed off that metal clank as its own audio file. Then I would just drag it and put it wherever I wanted it. And then right here, you can probably notice that these little swoopies, these are reverse metal clanks. And so all I did there was take our original clank that I built from committing that one part in an audio suite here in Pro Tools, committed it, reversed it, put it wherever I want it to go. Made another track. Now we get this cool hit, reverse into another hit. Which is very impactful. Make sure you turn on your other drums that you want back on. Turn off the original metal clank. I like to keep it there just for a reference. So here's that section one more time. Very cool, very simple, but gives you a little independence from the plugin, gives you an opportunity to add a little extra mixing and have it kind of customize how you want it. You can add extra effects to it, reverb it, distort it. It just separates it out so you can have it. So that's just a quick brief overview of Ujam's drums. There's a lot to it. Once again, there's tons of presets. You can save your own presets. Once you save it, it goes into a user folder, and then you can bring it up anytime you want. I love that there's all the automation that you can do, all sorts of different effects. This is just a quick example of what I did with it. I spent about a day on this song, didn't go too deep into it. There's still a lot more I could do with it. I just wanted to give you an example of what you can do with cinematic drums from Ujam. So that's just a quick look at Ujam's drums. I found it pretty easy to use, real epic. I felt like I could get good sounds real fast. How was your experience with it?
I felt the same way. I just laid down some tracks really quickly and just did some layering, and I did the commit thing as well, just to kind of get stuff jotted down. I just used one instrument, and I found it to be really intuitive. I could figure it out really quick, navigate through. I mean, the thing about Ujam is you can write a lot of material really fast if you need to. And yes, the epic sound, I mean, that's what this is. I mean, it's intense cinematic drums hammering,
So I'm curious about your workflow. So when you built your song, you said that you used one instance of it and then you committed and then just kind of changed it up and then went along that way?
I did. It's a little bit of a destructive path in that I wasn't keeping my MIDI information. I was just writing some MIDI stuff real quick, committing that into a wave clip, and then basically just writing a song that way, really quick shot. For this purpose, I just wanted to just build something just to run through all the, as many presets as I could real quickly and just see what it does. And I found it to be easy. I never got locked up. I never struggled with it. I just went, if I didn't like something that fit with what I was writing, I just went to something else and just threw it in. And
That's cool. So yeah, I like that you just kind of got it and you just committed. This is what it is. There's no going back and thinking about it and doing it over and over again and overthinking it. It's just, this is what it is. Then you could hand it off to somebody to remix it or add it into a video game, a movie. It's just, here it is what it is, hand it off, and then you give them the audio sessions. They could load it into their own DAW separately. They could throw their own reverbs and effects on it, and you're just like, this is what it is, go. When you were using the presets, did you find yourself editing the presets, the ADSR or anything like that, or did you just, this is what it is, print and go?
I did a couple, but I kept it pretty simple. I mainly just messed with their beats a little bit, and then just in a couple places I actually wound up using a reverse on the audio suite on one of my things to give it kind of a swell, and I made it, I intentionally kind of used all the just drums to see how far I could push it. So I did a few little things, but I didn't really get in too deep. I mean, just the presets as they are in their default mode are awesome. So you can take it to another level from there if you're hearing something or feeling something. But for this purpose, I mainly just found something, rocked it, move on to the next, and just built a whole track with the drums.
Yeah, Ujam seems to be really good with that.
I just want to say Ujam's exciting. It's kind of this new wave of writing tools that they have available that you can, I mean, you can just lay down stuff so quickly. I mean, when I think of Ujam, I kind of think of speed.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's also good. You could lay down something and then you could articulate it later just to have like even you could use it as placeholders. So this is just another big addition. It's a big cinematic, mostly drum kind of theme to it, and it's just another weapon in your toolkit as a composer.
Absolutely. Well, right on. Well, thanks so much. I'm glad you liked it. Thanks for checking out this little quick tutorial on Ujam's drums. We are Hidden Level Audio. You can find us on all of the social medias. Check us out, hit us up. We're happy to talk to you about anything. Right on. Well, thank you guys so much, and thank you, Ujam.